These people are being crushed.
Is incompatible in the kind of public servant we expect from a president of the United States. It doesn't sound like you could run it.
The whole world is listening.
Take a mental journey back to the 1970s, a decade of political upheaval and transformative change. Remember the iconic figures who shaped history. But did you know some of them are still with us? How have their legacies evolved, and what can we learn from their enduring influence? Join us as we uncover 13 famous politicians in the 1970s who are still alive.
I've just been talking about forces of potential destruction that mankind has developed and how we might control them.
Jimmy Earl Carter Jr., born October 1, 1924, is a distinguished American politician whose impact on both national and global scales is profound. As the 39th President of the United States from 1977 to 1981, Carter's presidency was marked by his commitment to progressive reforms and civil rights. Before becoming president, Carter was the 76th governor of Georgia from 1971 to 1975 and a state senator from 1963 to 1967. His military service in the United States Navy from 1946 to 1953 further shaped his leadership and public service ethos. Carter's presidency focused on several critical issues, including energy policy, human rights, and international diplomacy. His administration is noted for the Camp David Accords, which facilitated peace between Israel and Egypt, and his dedication to addressing the energy crisis and promoting environmental conservation. After leaving the White House, Carter continued his public service by establishing the Carter Center in 1982. The center's mission to promote human rights, alleviate suffering, and advance global health has earned Carter widespread acclaim.
Strengthening of democracy and the fight against deprivation, torture, terrorism, and the persecution of people throughout the world.
His efforts in combating diseases, facilitating conflict resolution, and promoting democratic governance have had a lasting impact. In 2002, Carter was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his extensive humanitarian work. At 99, he is the oldest living former U.S. president and the longest-lived president in American history. Despite his age, Carter remains active in humanitarian efforts, embodying a legacy of peace and human rights advocacy that continues to inspire and influence. Moving ahead, let's explore the legacy of Al Gore.
Now the U.S. Supreme Court has spoken. Let there be no doubt, while I strongly disagree with the court's decision, I accept it.
Albert Arnold Gore, born on March 31, 1948 in Washington, D.C., is a distinguished American politician whose career has profoundly impacted U.S. politics and environmental advocacy. The son of Albert Gore Sr., a respected U.S. Senator, and Pauline Gore, a pioneering Vanderbilt Law School graduate, Gore's political lineage was well established from an early age. Gore's political journey began in 1977 when he was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives.
Let me say how grateful I am to all those who supported me and supported the cause for which we have fought.
During his 4 terms in the House, he gained a reputation for focusing on environmental issues and technology. His commitment to these causes continued when he transitioned to the U.S. Senate in 1985. Serving until 1993, Gore was a prominent advocate for government reform and environmental protection. In 1992, Gore was elected vice president under President Bill Clinton, where he played a crucial role in promoting ecological policies and enhancing government efficiency. His tenure as vice president was marked by significant efforts to address climate change, which continued to shape his post-political career. Despite a contentious and narrow loss in the 2000 presidential election, where he won the popular vote but lost the Electoral College, Gore's influence did not wane. At 76, he remains a leading environmental activist. His seminal documentary, An Inconvenient Truth, has raised global awareness about climate change, underscoring his enduring commitment to environmental advocacy and cementing his legacy as a champion of progressive causes.
And somehow they have decided to honor me with a continuation of the public service.
Bill Nelson, born on September the 29th, 1942 in Miami, Florida, has had a storied political career. As the only child of Nannie Merle and Clarence William Nelson, he first entered public service in 1972 when he was elected to the Florida House of Representatives. Representing the 47th District, Nelson's jurisdiction included much of Brevard County and parts of Orange and Seminole counties. His popularity and effectiveness led to re-elections in 1974 and 1976. In 1978, Nelson's political career took a significant leap when he was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives for Florida's 9th Congressional District. He succeeded Lewis Fry Jr., who opted to run for governor. Nelson continued to serve in Congress, representing the redrawn 11th Congressional District until 1991. Notably, in 1986, he became the first sitting member of the House to travel into space, an adventure that highlighted his diverse interest and dedication. Today, Bill Nelson is 81 years old and continues to contribute to public service. In 2021, President Joe Biden appointed him as NASA Administrator, where he oversees the nation's space agency, leveraging his extensive experience in both politics and space exploration. The following political figure is primarily respected as a pillar of American politics.
Trying to make a case that I've lived off of the public tit all these years. I think you're saying the years I've been in the Congress, but not for the years before I came to Congress.
Chuck Grassley, born September the 17th, 1933 in New Hartford, Iowa, is a distinguished American politician whose career has spanned over 5 decades. In the 70s, Grassley became a U.S. congressman, representing Iowa's 3rd District from 1975 to 1981. His tenure was characterized by a strong focus on agricultural policies and fiscal conservatism, which had a lasting impact on national policy during that era. In 1981, Grassley transitioned to the U.S. Senate, where he has served since, becoming one of the longest-serving senators in American history. Now at 90, Grassley remains an active and influential member of the Senate, renowned for his relentless advocacy on issues such as judicial reform, government transparency, and rural development. His extensive experience and deep understanding of legislative processes have cemented his reputation as a dedicated public servant. Even at 90 today, Grassley's commitment to his constituents and national issues is unwavering. He continues to work vigorously, reflecting his enduring dedication to representing the people of Iowa and addressing pressing national concerns. Grassley's long and ongoing service highlights his significant role in shaping American politics over the decades. Up next, we explore the remarkable journey of a young senator who rose to the highest office in the land.
The biggest thing those debates will do was firm up which way those undecided voters are going to go.
Born November the 20th, 1942, Joe Biden began his distinguished political career as a U.S. Senator from Delaware in 1972, becoming one of the youngest senators in history at the age of 30. His early years in the Senate were marked by a focus on criminal justice reform and foreign policy, mainly through his work on the Senate Judiciary Committee. Biden's ascent was notably challenged by personal tragedy. His first wife, Nelia, and their daughter, Naomi, tragically died in a car accident just before he took office. Despite this profound loss, Biden's career flourished.
I probably have the least seniority of anyone ever to enter this august body.
Over the decades, he became a prominent figure in the Senate, contributing to significant legislation such as the 1994 Crime Bill and the Violence Against Women Act. His reputation for bipartisanship and practical solutions earned him widespread respect. Biden's career reached new heights when he was elected vice president under Barack Obama, serving from 2009 to 2017. He was crucial in advancing critical initiatives like the Affordable Care Act and navigating the recovery from the 2008 financial crisis. His leadership extended to global diplomacy and domestic policy. In 2020, Biden was elected as the 46th President of the United States. His presidency addressed climate change, economic recovery, and national unity. In 2024, at 81 years old, Biden decided to step down from running for re-election. He endorsed his vice president, Kamala Harris, as his successor, ensuring a smooth transition and continued focus on the priorities he championed. This move underscored his commitment to democratic principles and dedication to the nation's future.
Eliminating FOIA or crippling it would mean the end of effective news coverage of the federal government. It's that simple.
Patrick Joseph Leahy, born on March the 31st of 1940, is a distinguished American politician and attorney. As a U.S. Senator from Vermont from 1975 to 2023, Leahy's political career began when he was elected to the Senate in 1974 as part of the Watergate babies wave of Democrats. During the 70s, he quickly established himself as a dedicated public servant, focusing on agricultural and judicial reforms. As of 2024, Leahy, now 84, continues to influence American politics. After retiring from the Senate, he's remained active in public life, often speaking on justice and civil liberties. Leahy's legacy includes his tenure as President pro tempore of the Senate and his role as chairman of the Agriculture and Judiciary Committees. Vermont's longest-serving senator and its only Democratic U.S. senator, Leahy's contributions to American politics remain significant.
Millions of American families know that we're just one medical catastrophe away from financial disaster.
Barbara Mikulski, born on July the 20th of 1936, was a towering figure in American politics and a dynamic voice in the U.S. Congress for 4 decades. From 1977 to 1987, she represented Maryland's 3rd District in the House of Representatives, championing progressive causes and social justice. Her dedication to public service was evident in her tireless advocacy for women, children, and older people. In 1987, Mikulski made history by becoming Maryland's first female U.S. Senator, a role she held with distinction until 2017. Her tenure was marked by unwavering commitment to healthcare, education, and civil rights issues. Known for her pragmatic approach and strong work ethic, Mikulski left an indelible mark on American politics. As of 2024, at 88, she remains a beloved and respected figure, celebrated for her groundbreaking achievements and lifelong dedication to public service.
Today's hearing provides us with 12 billion reasons to be concerned about fraud, waste, and abuse.
Among the prominent figures of early times, Henry Waxman is a notable presence who continues to make waves today. Born September the 12th of 1939, Waxman served as a U.S. Congressman from California for 4 decades, from 1975 to 2015. As a dedicated Democrat, he became a leading voice on issues that shaped American life, including healthcare, environmental protection, and consumer safety. During his tenure, Waxman was instrumental in crafting landmark legislation such as the Clean Air Act and the Drug Price Competition and Patent Term Restoration Act, which sought to improve public health and safety. His advocacy helped drive significant reforms that left a lasting imprint on U.S. policy. Even after retiring from Congress, Waxman's influence did not wane. Now at 84, he continues to impact public affairs as chairman at Waxman Strategies, a firm specializing in strategic communications and lobbying. Today's work reflects his ongoing commitment to shaping policy and guiding public discourse. Henry Waxman's career, beginning in the 1970s and extending into the present, exemplifies a remarkable legacy of public service. His contributions to American politics remain relevant and impactful, underscoring the enduring significance of his work.
Father was in politics. I suppose if my father was a doctor, I might have become a doctor. He happened to have been a lawyer and a governor, so I became a lawyer and a governor.
Jerry Brown, born April the 7th of 1938, is one of American politics' most influential and enduring figures. His political journey began in 1970 when he was elected California Secretary of State, a role that set the stage for his future impact. Brown's initial term as governor of California from 1975 to 1983 was marked by his commitment to progressive policies and significant reforms. He championed environmental protection, advocating for sustainable practices and leading efforts to combat pollution. His administration also focused on fiscal responsibility, a characteristic that earned him widespread respect for his honesty and integrity. After stepping down as governor, Brown continued his public service as mayor of Oakland from 1999 to 2007. During this period, he worked on revitalizing the city, addressing urban issues, and improving the local economy.
It's just a fact of a life in this country that just to stay where we are, we have to try a lot harder.
His time as mayor was characterized by his hands-on approach and dedication to community development. In a remarkable twist, Jerry Brown returned to California's highest office in 2011, beginning his second stint as governor. Serving until 2019, he focused on several key issues, including climate change, education reform, and infrastructure improvements. His second term was marked by efforts to address California's challenges with innovative solutions and a commitment to long-term planning. Newsweek once lauded Jerry Brown as unlikely to have a more scrupulously honest governor, a testament to his enduring legacy. His long and storied career spanned several decades in numerous roles, reflecting his deep connection to California's political landscape and his lasting impact on the state's governance.
Campaign for president, which I waged earlier this year, campaign of change to shape and capture our future.
Born on November the 28th, 1936, Gary Hart remains a notable figure from the 1970s whose influence has persisted. Hart served as a U.S. Senator from Colorado from 1975 to 1987, establishing himself as a significant player in American politics. During his Senate tenure, he was known for his work on national security and foreign policy issues. Hart's presidential ambitions were evident when he ran for the Democratic nomination in 1984 and again in 1988. His 1988 campaign, however, was derailed by revelations about alleged extramarital affairs, a scandal that brought his bid to an abrupt end.
Did I make a mistake by putting myself in circumstances that could be misconstrued? Of course I did.
Despite this setback, Hart's impact extended beyond the political arena. After leaving the Senate, Hart transitioned to academia and national security. He co-chaired the U.S. Commission on National Security, 21st Century, which provided recommendations for addressing future threats. Additionally, he taught at prestigious institutions including Oxford and Yale, influencing a new generation of scholars and policymakers. Now at 87, Gary Hart's career reflects a complex journey of achievements and controversies. His contributions to politics and academia underscore a lasting legacy of significant influence and dedication. The following honor goes to a man who stood firmly for the disabled and physically challenged.
Thank you for putting me in a position where I can help to lead this historic fight for health reform.
Tom Harkin, born November the 19th of 1939, remains a significant figure in American politics, with a career that began in the 70s and spanned over 3 decades. Harkin first made his mark in 1974 when he won a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives from Iowa's 5th Congressional District. His spirited, grassroots campaign outmaneuvered a long-standing Republican incumbent, showcasing his dedication and connection to his constituents. In 1984, Harkin transitioned to the Senate, defeating an incumbent in a challenging race. His tenure was marked by notable achievements, including being the first Iowa Democrat to secure consecutive Senate terms. Harkin's 30-year Senate career saw him re-elected multiple times, establishing him as the longest-serving elected Democrat in Iowa's history. His legislative accomplishments reflect his deep commitment to social justice and disability rights, inspired by his experiences growing up with a deaf brother. One of his most celebrated achievements is the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990.
Marked the 19th anniversary of the signing of the Americans with Disabilities Act by President George Herbert Walker Bush.
As a champion for individuals with disabilities, Harkin's sponsorship of this landmark legislation was a significant milestone, ensuring equal rights and opportunities for millions. His experiences inspired this drive with his deaf brother, who frequently faced discrimination during their childhood. Additionally, he advanced research and quality of life improvements for those with paralysis through the Christopher and Dana Reeve Act, which created a clinical trials network to evaluate rehabilitation therapies. Harkin's dedication to medical research extended to lifting restrictions on embryonic stem cell research.
The House passed H.R. 810, a bill to lift the President's restrictions on stem cell research.
In 2009, he played a crucial role in advocating for this change, which President Barack Obama endorsed. This change opened doors to potential breakthroughs in treating conditions like Parkinson's and spinal cord injuries. After retiring from the Senate in January of 2015, Harkin's legacy resonates. It reflects a career defined by advocacy, innovation, and unwavering public service. At 84, Tom Harkin remains a respected figure in American politics. Moving forward, let's consider a man with a legacy of service and security. Samuel Augustus Nunn Jr., born on September the 8th of 1938 in Macon, Georgia, has left an indelible mark on American politics and global security. Raised in a family steeped in public service, his father was an attorney and mayor of Perry, and his granduncle was Congressman Carl Vinson. Nunn's path seemed destined for significant contributions. A standout high school athlete and basketball team captain, he attended Georgia Tech before enlisting in the U.S. Coast Guard in 1959.
Teaching swimming, basic swimming, as well as some life-saving courses.
After his service, Nunn pursued higher education at Emory University, earning degrees in law while also serving in the Coast Guard Reserve. Nunn's political career began in 1968 when he was elected to the Georgia House of Representatives. In 1972, he won a decisive victory for the U.S. Senate seat, defeating appointed Senator David Gambrell and Representative Fletcher Thompson. Over 24 years in the Senate, Nunn was pivotal on the Armed Services Committee, the Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations, and other critical panels. His leadership was instrumental in crafting the 1991 Nunn-Lugar Act, which established the Cooperative Threat Reduction Program to secure and dismantle former Soviet weapons of mass destruction. Post-Senate, Nunn co-founded the Nuclear Threat Initiative, NTI, in 2001, a nonprofit dedicated to reducing nuclear, biological, and chemical threats globally.
Materials or sell know-how across borders to a terrorist group out of economic desperation.
As Chairman Emeritus of the Center for Strategic and International Studies and a distinguished professor at Georgia Tech, he continues influencing policy and security. At the age of 85 today, Nunn's enduring legacy of dedication and leadership remains a cornerstone of American and global security. We're moving now to a political veteran widely known as a pillar of progressive politics.
I've got a question for 1 million people. Do you want to freeze the arms race?
Ed Markey, born on July the 11th of 1946 in Malden, Massachusetts, is a notable American politician whose career spans decades and reflects a steadfast commitment to progressive ideals. Markey's journey into public service began in his hometown, where he was raised in a Roman Catholic family and attended parochial schools. His academic path led him to Boston College, where he earned a degree in 1968, becoming the first in his family to attend college. Despite his opposition to the Vietnam War, he served in the U.S. Army Reserve from 1968 to 1973 while pursuing a law degree. Markey's political career began in earnest in 1973 when he was elected to the Massachusetts House of Representatives. His ascent within the Democratic Party was swift, and by 1976, he had secured a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives through a special election. His advocacy on critical issues marked Markey's legislative career in the House. His book, Nuclear Peril, published in 1982, highlighted his efforts to halt the export of uranium to India, showcasing his early commitment to global safety. Markey's role in drafting the American Clean Energy and Security Act of 2009 further solidified his reputation as a leading voice on climate change and renewable energy. In June of 2013, Markey transitioned to the U.S. Senate, winning a special election to fill John Kerry's vacated seat. His tenure in the Senate has continued his focus on progressive causes, including net neutrality, internet privacy, and public broadcasting. Markey, married to Dr. Susan Blumenthal, who served as an assistant U.S. Surgeon General, remains a prominent advocate for environmental protection and technological advancement. As of 2024, at the age of 78, Ed Markey's enduring influence and commitment to progressive policies have made him a significant figure in American politics, reflecting his deep-rooted dedication to serving the public.